Okay. That was a tough watch, really. You're not just watching the games themselves, but watching the results come in. As I record this now, Chelsea... What am I doing? I don't know why I'm squinting. Using my glasses. Chelsea losing 2-0 to Aston Villa. That doesn't matter, but I'm just saying that so as you know where I am at the point where I record this at whatever, at 10 to 7 on Saturday evening. That was hard watching the results come in. That really was. Bournemouth winning, no surprise. None whatsoever. Well, you'll notice, because I said it yesterday, Palace, same again. Actually, Leeds lost 4-1. That's good for us. That result was good for West Ham. And by the way, not everything is bad. It's not every result went against us, but it does put massive pressure on this Southampton game. And let's get this right. If David Moyes has done it right and he's got it right, we will move above Bournemouth. We move into 14th place. But Bournemouth have done themselves, a massive favour. They're up in 15th at the moment. The Forest and Wolves one, maybe they both would have taken a draw there. Palace 30 points. I mean, David Moyes has got me really, really worried. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself on that one, because it's hard not to. How can you not watch the league table and just be totally and utterly frustrated? I know I said it yesterday. I cannot believe we're in this situation. Moyes' comments basically admitted he got it wrong and it hasn't worked. He was talking about his signings. He was talking about his summer signings. It's one of the most frustrating things I think I've ever heard, really, when he was saying, I got it wrong, it hasn't worked out. Players take time to adjust to the Premier League. Well, only for him. Well, not only for him. Okay, that's unfair. I'm not saying that other players haven't taken the time to adjust to the Premier League. But no one seems to suffer with it as much as Moyes does, or complain about it as much as Moyes does. There's a lot of players. Look, go through them. Have a look. I'm so frustrated and annoyed to even bother. But I'm pretty sure you could go down the Premier League and find lots and lots of teams who've brought in players this season, last season, any season. They've come into the Premier League from a different league and they've been okay. It's not just that they take time to settle. He's basically saying they still haven't settled. That's what he was saying. It's like David Moyes got to bring in the players that David Moyes signs, and they take a year to settle. Well, hold on a second, mate. But why did you do it then? I mean, I just don't get it. What happened to this stuff that when you first came in and you were talking about getting players from the Championship? Why didn't you do that? They don't take time to settle, right? Oh, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. It's not really about that or about what he was talking about or about what he was saying. Look, Bournemouth have got a real fizz about them. And the other thing about Bournemouth, I'm just going to click on the matches as well. I mean, it was hard watching. I watched as many of the games as I could. And, you'll know this. If you're on our Patreon WhatsApp group, you'll know I'd sort of had a multi-screen setup going on, and I was trying to watch as much of it as I could. And I sort of had my eye on most games, and I was just settled down. I was just watching Bournemouth on that screen. Excuse me. And I was watching Crystal Palace on that screen. I'll tell you what they both have going for them, and that is that they both have... I know people are going to laugh I go on about pace. I do go on about pace a lot. I think it's important in a football team. It's not the be-all and end-all. You need skill, you need tackling, you need heading, you need all that other stuff. But if you don't have any pace, then it really is evident. It really does show up. And Bournemouth and Palace both got a lot of pace. And as a result, they threaten the opposition. But the other thing they've got going for them, they really noticeable, and a really vibrant home crowd. But both of them, really loud, both home... both Bournemouth Stadium, Crystal Palace Stadium was really, really loud as well. And whilst they might be in, I think for different reasons maybe Crystal Palace were a little bit buoyed and a little bit more G'd up because Roy Hodgson had come back. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that was, let's be fair, that was not well received by the press, was it? I remember listening to Talk Sport and they were not impressed by Roy Hodgson coming back. But it was a nailed-on thing to do for them to stay in the Premier League. He knew the club. He'll keep things tight at the back, and he knows how to counter-attack at pace. That's really what they needed. They'd stopped, in many respects, I think, stopped playing to their strengths a little bit under Vieira. Hodgson was always going to sort out, and I don't say that with hindsight. That was just what was going to happen. But you really felt that the crowd was up and the crowd was behind them, and the same with Bournemouth. And I think Bournemouth, maybe they're just surprised. They're just pleased to be in the Premier League. It's very different for West Ham. It's not like we're pleased to be in the Premier League. Of course we are. We want to be in the Premier League. But our expectations have been so high with Europe and everything. There's no way we thought we'd be down there. We shouldn't be down there. 19th in the Premier League. There's absolutely no way we should be down there. All that money that he spent. So to hear him go on about, oh, you know, they haven't settled, he might have got it wrong, and you know, come on. I mean, I do wonder, penny for David Sullivan's faults at this point right now. As I say, this hopefully will change as the day goes on. Hopefully we beat Southampton, and then David Sullivan's able to say, no, I was right to keep David Moyes, and David Moyes keeps us up, all right? But at the moment, it does not feel like that. It really, really doesn't. I wonder if David Sullivan at the moment is thinking, oh, maybe I should have pulled the trigger. I mean, well, Palace did, didn't they? Palace did pull the trigger, and look what they are. And the funny thing is, I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but Palace beat a Leicester City team who have retained their manager. I find it hard to think Leicester City will remain down there, but their form is atrocious. Leicester's form is terrible. But what I also said about a vibrant home stadium, I think that's important. That gets you. That's going to get you wins at home. You know, both those stadiums. They're tight to the pitch, aren't they? You know, the crowd are sort of up for it and all the rest of it. The Forest one, maybe just maybe. And I didn't watch any of the Forest game, but I hear there were points during that game. Forest were all over Wolves. I couldn't tell you anything else about that game at all. But here's the thing: Wolves, they might think that that's a decent point away to Forest because that's where Forest get their results, isn't it? At home, they're no good, so they're no good away. So maybe just maybe that's not the best result in the world for Forest. I mean, we were clinging on that. As I said for a little while, three worse teams than us. Two worse teams don't do it. Three worse teams than us. That's what we need. And the thing about Leeds is, okay, Leeds lost away to Arsenal, but Leeds have that same thing that Palace have got, and the same thing that Bournemouth have got. They got that tight stadium. They got that home support. You have to fancy Leeds. I've watched a bit of that. Leeds played well for periods of that game and posed a real threat. There's a vibrancy, there's a bit of a bounce about them. Dare I say that Leeds have got pace? I won't mention it. But honestly, the whole thing has got me worried. The whole thing has got me paranoid now. And I'm now looking at Leeds thinking, oh, you know, Leeds have got the capacity to win at home, really. I mean, it looks a lot better, doesn't it, really? Let's be fair, for Palace now. What have Palace got to do? Win 2 more games. I mean, it does look a lot better. And look at who they're playing. All the teams down the bottom. What can I say? We've got to beat Southampton. It doesn't even bear thinking about. And I wasn't even going to do a video today because I was, you know, I could just easily do a video after the game, but I just a bit of therapy really. Don't feel any better for talking to you lot. It's not your lot's fault, by the way. But we just have to. There's no option. There is no option. I mean, David Moyes was talking as well about having to win the next couple of games so as we can focus on Europe. Really? I mean, you should have been trying to win these 2 games. I hope he is. I really do. I don't care about being proven wrong or anything like that. I'd be very happy for David Moyes to go on a winning streak and win all the games. I'd really be happy to be proven wrong. I suspect he's going to go out there and it's going to be cautious stuff again. And I don't know. I did actually predict a 2-0 winner, but it is hope. It is hope. That's all it is. Expectation. But I do hope. It's hope, and I hope to be proven wrong. It's hard though. It's nerve-wracking, right? We've got to go through the rest of tonight and then tomorrow, obviously Sunday morning, as it is now, to before we get to that game. Oh, that is going to be nerve-wracking in that stadium. Absolutely nerve-wracking. It's going to be nerve-wracking at home, sat on your sofa watching it as well. Nerve-wracking in the pub. Nerve-wracking everywhere. I'm basically a bag of nerves. This is what I was saying to you when I said to you yesterday. It takes over the whole weekend. It's taken over the whole weekend now. The whole weekend. Oh, West Ham, they drag you through it.